there is a sense of monotony, and even though the female characters remain in the system, trying not to make things fall apart, still they are able to scratch the levels which society has put on them. So what society does, society keeps on trying to put labels on you, because if you are not labeled, then society feels threatened. And why does society feel threatened? Because society feels that society is confronted with something that society cannot understand, that society cannot appropriate, that society cannot discipline, that society cannot turn into docile bodies in Michel Foucault's theory, in Foucaultian terms. So, so it's very important for human society, culture, civilization, patriarchy, to be able to label you, to be able to categorically categorize you. Uh, yes. So, through the intrusion, the Deshpande makes us know the character as who she is as individual and not under the societal level. By scratching the levels which are forcibly put on a woman in Indian society, Deshpande displays a feminist stance in a new, unseen light. This attempt is conspicuous. You know, this very attempt that we're talking about is incredibly conspicuous. Why do I think it's conspicuous? Why do I think it's conspicuous? It's conspicuous because society would never feel safe if it fails to categorize or label. And by scratching the labels which are forcibly put on women in Indian society, Deshpande displays a feminist stance in a new unseen light. And what Deshpande is doing, Deshpande is decoding women who have always already been encoded in uh, in and within marriage. So the identity of woman remains encoded within marriage, and therefore this is why this is what she is supposed to do, and this is what she is not supposed to be doing. এটা ওর করা উচিত, এগুলো বউদের কাজ, এটা করা উচিত না, এগুলো বউদের কাজ না। যখন এটা করে দেয় তখন কি হয়? তখন একটি মেয়ে বউ হয়ে যাওয়ার ফলে এনকোডেড হয়ে যায়। And what Deshpande is doing, Deshpande is decoding woman as wife. When a woman becomes a wife, the woman becomes encoded into the level of wife, into the codification of wife. And when Deshpande decodes her, she is a deconstructing wife, and the role that has been put on her, or the codes into which she has always already been encoded. Deshpande displays a feminist stance in a new unseen light, and this attempt is conspicuous. এই যে একটা জায়গা রয়েছে, তুমি এত এরকম করছো কেন? তুমি না আমার বউ হও? What does that mean? That means the role of wife is labeled and encoded. So the moment তুমি না আমার বউ হও, what does that mean? There is a dialogue there. Aren't you my wife? Aren't you my legally married wife? So the implication is that when you become wife, you become encoded. When you become wife, you basically become encoded. And society sees you through those codifications, into which you have always already been encoded, into which all the wives have been encoded, into which all the women who become wives have always already been encoded. Now, Deshpande is deconstructing that codification, that process of codification, and the wife becomes therefore decoded and deconstructed. And when the wife, or should I say the label of wife, gets decoded, then these questions starts popping up. Who is a woman? What is her duty? If she does not want to have sex, then why does she have to? Then if she does not want to have sex and the husband does want to have sex, then would that not or should that not qualify for rape? The moment you start asking these topics of marital rape, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and all those things, you are necessarily decoding wife as a code into patriarchal context. This attempt is conspicuous because it helps in a new understanding of women as individual human being in Indian context. The Western feminist lenses are kept apart. পশ্চিম ইউরোপীয় যে ফেমিনিজম রয়েছে সেটাকে দূরে রাখা হয়েছে. I have been saying that Deshpande is she a feminist? Yes, she is a feminist, but not in the sense of the European, American feminist words. And Deshpande is not interested in transplanting the European and American feminist criticism in Indian context. And she does not want the Indian women to be living their traditional roles of life. তুমি বউ আছো বউ থাকো বাট বউ হয়ে বেরিয়ে যাওয়াটাও যেমন জরুরি না সেরকম বউ হয়ে থাকা মানেই লক্ষণ রেখার মধ্যে পুরুষতন্ত্রের জাঁতাকলে পিছু পিষ্ট হওয়া এটাও কিন্তু জরুরি. তার মানে এটাও নয় যে ইউ গো আউট ইন দ্য স্ট্রিটস and burn bra and file divorce against your wife and put everybody in jail. But then সেটাও দেশপান্ডে রেকমেন্ড করছে. So the Western feminist lenses are kept apart. পশ্চিম ইউরোপীয় যে নারীবাদী তত্ত্বটা সেটাকে দূরে সরিয়ে রাখা হয়েছে. But the feminist ideology is taken up by Deshpande to be exposed and ascertained in a fresh discursive way. But that does not necessarily mean that Deshpande is not a feminist. Yes, Deshpande is a feminist, but she understands the Indian context. She understands the role that wives play in Indian context, and he uh, discursively creates a paradigm of feminism in accordance with the Indian or subcontinental context. Sexuality has become one of the most contentious and contested concepts of both academic interest and socio-political movements because it has become a site of strife and struggle over which major political battles are fought between the repressive ideologies of the state or fundamentalist groups and the creative forces of nature and human life. Women's writings bear the authentic signature of their experiences, open before us a new vista, and where in one can find how societies and traditions have played a subversive role in relegating a woman to a secondary position. I could have borne the battery of sea better, but would that would hurt but not humiliate like this. সমুদ্রের যে ধাক্কাটা না সেই ধাক্কাটাও আমি নিয়ে নিতে পারতাম, কিন্তু এই যে আমার উপর যে ইনট্রুশনটা হচ্ছে which is technically the husband is having intercourse, is having sex with the wife, but that pounding is not something that I cannot accept. Why? Because it is not only an intrusion into her uh, body, into her sexuality, it's also an intrusion into her self-respect and identity uh, as woman and more so as human being. Intrusion depicts home as microcosm of society. প্রত্যেকটা বাড়ি হলো একটা রাষ্ট্রের ক্ষুদ্র সংস্কার. That how it becomes the nucleus around which the family protagonist to follow. At times willingly, at times unwilling, at other times extremely unwilling. Sometimes out of compulsion, কখনো কখনো জোর করে উপায় থাকে না বাধ্য হয়ে করতে, at other times out of helplessness, কখনো অসহায়ত্বের জন্য সারেন্ডার করি। Situation, circumstances dictate the decisions that we end up taking oftentimes. জানি যে পরিস্থিতিটা মেনে নিতে পারছি, যেটা ওয়াইফটির ক্ষেত্রে হয়েছিল। She knew that she was not getting into a relationship that she was proud of, that she was happy with, that she was interested in. No, definitely not. But since there were other two sisters to be married on, since there were other, as the father said, I have two more daughters to be married. So which basically means that uh, the father was almost happy to take the one load off his shoulder. And the girl had no option. The girl had practically no option but to accept that uh, nameless stranger as her hubby, as her registered husband. বেশিরভাগ ক্ষেত্রে মেয়েদের যাদের সাথে বিয়ে হয়, বেশিরভাগ ক্ষেত্রেই হয়তো তাকে স্বামী বলে মেনে নেয় না, মেনে নিতে পারে না, বা কোনো ক্ষেত্রে মেনে নেওয়া সম্ভবও নয় হয়েছে। বাট ইভেনচুয়ালি 50 বছর, 60 বছর, 70 বছর ধরে সংসার করে যায়। তার কারণটা হলো এটাই যে তার কাছে কোনো বিকল্প নেই ওই সংসারে করে যাওয়া আর করে যাওয়া আর করে যাওয়াটা ছাড়া। Nevertheless, the wife in the intrusion does not rebel or protest against it and would rather choose self-sacrifice so that their familiar structures remain intact. This is very, very, very critical. The intrusion does not rebel or protest against it. পুরো সিস্টেমটার বিরুদ্ধে ইনক্লুশন একটা বিদ্রোহ নয়, would rather choose self-sacrifice so that their familiar structure remain intact. কখনো কখনো নিজেকে সেলফ স্যাক্রিফাইস করতে হয়, নিজেকেই আত্মবলি দিয়ে দিতে হয়। আমি আমাকে বলি দিয়ে দিলাম, মানে আমি আমার বাবাকে, আমার বোনদেরকে, আমার মাকে এবং আমার পরিবারকে বাঁচালাম একটা চাকরি করা ছেলের সাথে। ওরা আমাকে বিয়ে দিতে চাইছে, সেই বিয়েটাকে মেনে নিই। So sometimes it could be read as a kind of a self-sacrifice that Indian girls often do to keep the society intact, to keep the cultural values intact, to keep her own family intact, to keep uh, uh, the system intact. কারণ তুমি দেখো না, যদি ও সেলফ স্যাক্রিফাইসটা না করে বলতো না আমার ছেলেটাকে পছন্দ না, আমি বিয়ে করবো না, আমার যে ছেলেকে পছন্দ না তাকে আমার বিয়ে করে বছরের পর বছর সংসারে টেনে যাওয়া আমার, আই উইল ম্যারি অনলি দ্যাট গাই whom I will like, whom I will be friend with, and whom I will be comfortable with. So I am not going to be comfortable with this guy. So I'm not going to be marrying this guy at all. So you get the straight from me. She could have said that, but she didn't say that. Why didn't she say that? She didn't say that because she wanted the family to be kept intact. She wanted, she loved her family, and she wanted her family not to be ruined, not to be disturbed. So, so she had only one option, that is to self-sacrifice herself and agree with the marriage option that is given to her. So that's exactly what is being said. Nevertheless, the wife in intrusion does not rebel or protest against it. She could have rebelled against it. She could have protested against it. It's not that she was not good enough to protest or rebel against it. But she did not, because she wanted to save her own family. She wanted to save her own father. She wanted to save her own sister. She wanted to save her own mother. And that's why self-sacrifice was the only option that she was practically left with. So the wife in the intrusions does not rebel or protest against it and would rather choose self-sacrifice so that their familiar structures remain intact. Since she could have borne the battering of the sea better, but that would hurt বাট নট ইউজিং ইট লাইক দিস। কিন্তু সমুদ্রের ঢেউ যদি চলে যেত ওই আগন্তুকটার বদলে, তাহলে হয়তো দেহে ব্যথা হতো, কিন্তু মান সম্মান, আইডেন্টিটি, আত্মমর্যাদা, ইনক্লুশনটা হয়তো করতো। হয়তো physically I would have been intruded, but definitely in terms of respect, pride, and identity, I wouldn't have been intruded. But now, whatever happening due to my self-sacrifice, I am being absolutely intruded in terms of identity, in terms of humanity, in terms of culture, in terms of self-respect, in terms of everything. I am being intruded. I am being invaded. And once that intrusion takes place, once that intrusion eventually takes place, I would never be able to get my identity back, get my human self-respect back, if I get my worth back. It's not about getting sexually uh, uh, harassed in within marital rape. It's also about causing irreparable damage to the identity, to the self-respect, to the dignity, to the worth of her own self. She won't be able to see herself respectfully next morning in the mirror when she will wake up. But then she didn't have any option uh, but to allow this to happen to her and, and make this a self-sacrifice. Had she not done that, her family would have been in absolute rut. You want to keep your own self-respect intact? So she had the option. So you save your family, you save your self-respect. So you save your family, you save your self-respect. And she has decided to, she has decided to save the family at the cost of her self-respect. She had two options. A, you save your family by agreeing with the marriage with, with that guy. And B, she had the option of uh, not marrying her and take care of her pride, self-respect, dignity. She opted for the former, agreed with the marriage, so she saved her family at the cost of her self-respect as woman, more so as human being. The conflict between duty to the family and personal fulfillment. This is exactly what I have been talking about. The conflict between duty to the family and personal fulfillment will always resolve itself through self-sacrifice and submission to the patterns of society because her father has two more daughters to be married. Yes, yes. She had to self-sacrifice herself because her fathers had two more daughters to be married. Since her fathers had two more daughters to be married, she was bound to self-sacrifice herself. The author does not intend to suggest any solutions. She is tired, just a little. Even her father appeared just a distant acquaintance. সে ক্লান্ত এবং তার বাবাও তখন তার কাছে অপরিচিত। না হলে বাবা বলতেন আমি কি করব, তখন বাবাও কিন্তু এমন একটা মানুষ যার কাছে মেয়ে নামক বোঝাটা ঘাট থেকে নামলে গোটা কি কেন কি বাবার কাছে তখন মেয়েটি মেয়ে মেয়েটি তখন একটা liability that she wants to take. are of history. The picture shows that the fact that tradition is deeply ingrained in the society, and for those women who have a mind of their own and a clear perception of the disadvantages of their position, one way to come to terms with the surrounding reality is the acceptance of the loneliness as the factual part of their existence. She drew the sheets over herself. When the husband starts sleeping after having sex with her, she drew the sheet and covered her body. Because now it's a body that even she is not very comfortable. Because it's not my body. It's a body that has been won by a male winner. So it's his body. He will do whatever he feels like doing to my body. So it's no longer my body. So he hides from his body. Almost she feels that her body is not her body anymore. So she drew the sheets over herself and lay quietly, afraid to move, thinking of nothing, her mind absolute blank. The holy triad of home, family, and society. There was a ষড়যন্ত্র between three agents: home, family, and society. সেই মেয়েটির সাথে যে চক্রান্ত হচ্ছে বিয়ে দিয়ে, সেটির মধ্যে তিনজন একসাথে ঘোর পাকাচ্ছে। একটা হলো তার নিজের বাড়ি, একটা হলো পরিবারের লোকগুলো, আর একটা হলো আরো পরিবারের বাইরে থেকে হলো তাদের সোসাইটি। তাই বাড়ি, পরিবার এবং এই কালচার বা সোসাইটি, এই তিনজনে একসাথে মিলে ঘোর পাকাচ্ছে। এগুলো একটা ভার্সন। আমরা যদি কালচারটাকে ভাঙি, তাহলে সেটা হবে আহ, আহ, বাড়ি বা পরিবার। আবার এই বাড়ি বা পরিবারটাকে যদি আমরা বড় করি, তাহলে সেটা হয়ে যাবে একটা রাষ্ট্র। So what is house or a family? House, family, home is the microcosm of state. What is state? State is the macrocosm of house and home. If we extend the house, it becomes rashtra. If we create a microcosm of the rashtra, it becomes family. রাষ্ট্রের যেমন রাষ্ট্রপতি থেকে সেসব সিদ্ধান্ত নেয়, প্রধানমন্ত্রী থেকে সেসব সিদ্ধান্ত, বাড়িতে বাবা হলো রাষ্ট্রপতি, সেসব সিদ্ধান্ত। বাকি নাগরিকদের যেমন প্রধানমন্ত্রী, মুখ্যমন্ত্রীদের সিদ্ধান্ত অসহায়ের মতো মেনে নিতে হয়, ঠিক সেরকম বাড়িতেও মেয়েদের যেখানে বিয়ে দেওয়া হয় তারা অসহায়ের মতো ডিসিশন মেনে নিতে হয়। So family or home is nothing but a microcosmic version of state ideology. And like civilians are helpless to the order of the prime minister or the political leaders, similarly, the other members of the family are helpless in front of the father, who is the head of the state called family. So the unholy triad of home, family, and society become for women a source of their nemesis as well as agent of prophecy. Why? এখানে বলা হচ্ছে বিবাহটা মহিলার পক্ষে একটা মুক্তি এবং বন্ধন দুটোই। মুক্তি কেন? কারণ তার পরিবারটাকে বাঁচালো এবং মুক্ত করলো। একটা চাকরি করা ছেলেকে বিয়ে করে এই মেয়েটি তার নিজের পরিবারকে বাঁচালো, তাই জন্য এটা মুক্তি। বন্ধন কেন? কেননা সেই মুক্তিটা দিতে গিয়ে পরিবারকে সে নিজেকে নিজে চক্রব্যূহের মধ্যে ফাঁসিয়ে দিল, সেলফ স্যাক্রিফাইসের মধ্যে দিয়ে। সেই জন্য এটা হলো একটা তার পতন। সেই জন্য এটা হলো এমন একটা পরিস্থিতি যেটা একটা মুক্তির দিশাও দেয়, আবার চক্রব্যূহের মধ্যে অনন্তকালের জন্য ফাঁসিয়েও মেরে দেয়। সেই জন্য এখানে আমি বলেছি যে ইটস বোথ আর নেমেসিস, এটা তার পতন অ্যাজ ওয়েল অ্যাজ ক্যাথারসিস, তার মুক্তি। So what does marriage do? Lower middle class commander ক্ষেত্রে marriage gives them freedom. আইডেন্টিটা কোথায়? সেই ফ্রিডমটা পেতে গিয়ে হয়তো অনন্তকালের জন্য দাসত্বের সাথে চুক্তিবদ্ধ হতে পারে। So it's a freedom that you earn by signing an eternal enslavement. And if you don't sign the contract with eternal enslavement, you can't earn the right of that marital freedom. তাই বিবাহ হলো একদিকে দেখতে গেলে ক্যাথারসিস স্ল্যাশ লিবার্টি স্ল্যাশ এমানসিপেশন, বাট এটা এমন একটা এমানসিপেশন ক্যাথারসিস লিবার্টি যেটা তোমার পতন বা নেমেসিস বা বিপর্যয় ছাড়া অন্য কিছু ডেকে আনে। বিয়ে না করলে তুমি টিকতে পারবে না, তোমার ফ্যামিলি টিকতে পারবে না, কেউ টিকতে পারবে না। আর বিয়ে করলে তোমার সেই নারী হিসাবে তোমার যাবতীয় যে আত্মসম্মান বা যে স্বকীয়তা রয়েছে সেগুলো চিরকালের জন্য কম্প্রোমাইজ হয়ে যাবে, এটাকেও পাল্টাতে পারবে। So you have to marry because it offers you that emancipation that a woman needs in her father's house. But when she does that, ironically, that freedom is earned only at the cost of her self-respect as identity, as woman, as a human. So marriage is both a catharsis as well as a nemesis. Marriage is both a nemesis as well as a catharsis. So what is marriage? Marriage is nemesis and catharsis for a woman simultaneously and concurrently. Thank you. Do you have any question? Yes. Otherwise, I'll end the session. We have completed intrusion. Comprehension. If you do not have any questions, then we are concluding the final lecture on Shashi Deshpande. Thank you.